No, it's not about the reputation because here's the thing. When somebody talks about something, it's not like I'm a cyber expert with an amazing reputation. I'm a doctor that is known for this or that. The problem is that people immediately see a channel that's based on cybersecurity or medicine or fucking working out or whatever, and they immediately assume that that person knows what they're talking about without ever looking into it. Because that's how people fall for stuff like Vishred, which is like one of the worst fucking fitness influencers of all time, just propagating extreme amount of misinformation. Like everyone knows he's fucking brain dead, but the average person sees that and they don't check it. It's like people that go to restaurants before checking the Google reviews, and then they leave a bad review and they see that the restaurant had like a 2 out of 5 average rating. Like, yeah, maybe check the reviews before you go, and then they keep doing it again and again. The main problem here is that people, regardless of somebody's reputation, just assume that if somebody has enough followers and claims to be versed enough in a field, or just bases their whole channel around that, they are automatically, to be believed. Low Level actually followed me on Twitter randomly like a few days ago. No, I wouldn't say he's shit, but like, Low Level was a very destructive source when it comes to this whole concept of Vanguard. Like, he said some really, really stupid shit while being completely uneducated on the topic just for the sake of views. Like, it was complete clickbait. It's like, is the League of Legends new anti-cheat malware? Or I was right in like red text while staring at the camera. And basically what he's saying is it's a kernel anti-cheat. That's all there is to it. And he's like, a kernel anti-cheat could be dangerous because it runs in kernel space. It's the highest privilege. And that's basically all he said for 4 minutes. And then people took that and they kept yapping about it. It's a very, very, very stupid fucking thing. Everything that he said on the topic was very fucking stupid. But this doesn't mean that he's generally dogshit. It just means that his opinions on the topic are fucking stupid because it's like he's completely uneducated on the topic. I don't doubt that he knows low level computer science and how operating systems work and all of this shit. He is definitely qualified to talk about operating systems. He definitely understands how a driver works or the kernel space works. But when he takes that information and he talks about a specific product in that area while doing zero research on that product and then makes confident claims about it, which are just end up being misinformation at the end of the day, and then generalizes it in a way that is so abbreviated that it doesn't even have a connection to reality anymore, and is so simplified that it's just pure misinformation that's easy to understand. That's the best way for people to, propagate misinformation. So I think he did an absolutely horrible job with anything that has to do with Vanguard or a bunch of anti-cheats, even the Genshin situation. Like, anything that has to do with this stuff, I think he did a horrible job with it. Not because he doesn't know what he's talking about or he's incompetent when it comes to the computer science aspect, just because he doesn't do proper research before he makes these claims or videos, because he's doing it for views, because he's not actually interested in doing proper research. That is the problem here. So I'm not gonna hate on the guy, but some of the stuff that he does with that is really fucking stupid. And you can see it in a lot of these channels where they just cover information. It's like basically the tech equivalent of drama content. The same way people cover like YouTube or influencer drama, these people cover like the hot topics by just reading an article and giving a basic opinion, by so-called reporting it in a very simplified way. Like, it's just cancer content, I swear to God. Like, put more effort into your videos. This is unacceptable. Not this one guy, but everyone. It's so easy to just take the latest fucking news, make a video in half an hour of just shoving on your webcam, reading an article or commenting on something that just happened, making a 10-minute video out of it in under half an hour, start to finish. From when you click record to when the video is uploaded on YouTube, it does not take more than at most an hour. Just doing that, and then there you go. You might genuinely get more views than I got on my last video, which took me like weeks to make. And you made it in 1 hour, because all you have to do is just address a hot topic, have a tiny bit of credibility by just saying you work in the field or having a bunch of subs, and there you go. Ton of money. It's a very predatory area. And it's very cringe to me, because it's just too many misinformation. Too much misinformation that just it fucking annoys people like me. I don't know what that is now. The real danger here is not just that he's famous, because some people can make the argument, oh, you shouldn't just listen to someone that's famous, but someone that's famous and knows what he's talking about. This guy is famous and knows what he's talking about when it comes to the field, but that doesn't mean that he knows what he's talking about on the individual topic or product that he's talking about. Or that he's even framing it properly. So for example, the Genshin situation. No. The only thing, like the Genshin situation was that there was a vulnerable driver in the Genshin anti-cheat that allowed a virus to elevate itself from user mode to kernel mode. So that it can bypass EDRs and whatever. Cool. The fact that it came from a game anti-cheat made so many fucking waves, so much impact. It got so much coverage. You want to know something cool? There's currently 60 or more active vulnerable drivers that do that exact thing right now. You probably have some on your PC. Almost every hardware driver does that, especially for RGB software. Almost all of them, especially cursor ones and whatever. It's very frequently found in a lot of stuff. The MSI Afterburner driver is vulnerable. There's a ton of them, and a lot of them by design. They are designed so that a user mode application can get kernel access so that it can change stuff on your hardware for like your CPU fans or whatever. It's not like a mistake. They literally intentionally made something that will allow a process to go from user mode to kernel mode. It is their only purpose. And it has never been patched because that's how it was designed. So when you have like 20 of those things running on your PC right now, why are you bringing up what Genshin did, which was just a badly designed anti-cheat driver which got exploited? You also have 20 other badly designed drivers on your PC right now. Why are we talking about that one? Why are we not talking about how horrible Corsair is when it comes to this? Or other stuff? Like, nobody fucking talks about that, but everyone talks about Genshin because, oh, it's an anti-cheat. Like, why is everyone so against anti-cheats, by the way? Like, I swear to God, every single time an anti-cheat gets brought up, people are so offended. Like, if they have vulnerable drivers anywhere else, if anything happens anywhere else on their PC, it's just whatever, it's unlucky. But the second we're talking about an anti-cheat, it's like fucking everybody gets instantly triggered. Everybody gets defensive. Everybody gets aggressive. Like, what's the deal with anti-cheats? I don't understand. It doesn't even come from cheaters. That's the worst part. Cheaters never complain about anti-cheats because they understand anti-cheats because they're the same ones that reverse engineer them and try to bypass them. It's always the users that don't cheat that hate anti-cheats the most. I don't understand. Like, the anti-cheats are preventing other people from cheating against you. All of the downsides that come from your anti-cheat drivers or whatever else also comes from like 80 different fucking areas in your PC. Why are you so against anti-cheats? And I'm not just talking about Vanguard. I'm talking about anti-cheats in general. People just have this fucking carrot up their ass regarding anti-cheats. Like, can anybody tell me what it is about them that is just so hated? It's just a fucking product that prevents cheating in a game. I get complaining that an anti-cheat isn't good enough. Like, I would not want to play fucking CS outside of Faceit, and then Faceit has a kernel anti-cheat, so they're going to complain about that as well. So you have to choose between playing a game that's fucking full of cheaters and bots, or one where there's a more invasive anti-cheat. People are always going to complain about it, but I don't understand why. I wish there weren't so many fucking sheep. But at the same time, you see it with AI and short form content and all of this shit, where people just want to turn off their brains and just use the minimal amount of resources possible. So, like, in what fucking universe would anybody do research instead of just hearing something one time and regurgitating it for the rest of their lives? The worst part is that they even do that with shorts. They literally do it with AI generated shorts of somebody fucking putting out 15 videos per day, not fact checking anything, not doing any research, sometimes just making shit up for content. And then they hear it one time and they're like, oh, actually, did you know? Like, you have people saying stuff like, did you know that Pringles actually doesn't even have potatoes in it? They make it out of like chemical dusts and shit and combine it with water. And then you can just go on the fucking thing and just look on the back on it, and it says like 90% fucking potato. Like, bro. They hear it on a short one time and they go full fucking paranoia. Yeah, or the fucking water argument. Did you know how many trillions of liters of fucking water get wasted on suboptimal agricultural practices of people that are just too lazy to, you know, figure out a better solution because it costs money and they just don't feel like it, so they just shit out a bunch of water on their projects and do stuff that is highly inefficient in terms of water usage. But people don't complain about that. In fact, they've never even mentioned that, because guess what? They don't actually give a fuck about the water or pollution. They just want to find a reason to hate on AI. Because if they actually gave a fuck about water and the environment, they would have done some fucking studying on that topic, and they would have actually understood that AI is not even like 1% of the fucking issue right now, not even 0.1% of the issue, and there are so many avoidable losses of water that are currently not even discussed and nobody gives a fuck about them, because no one cares. No one cares about water, genuinely. If they would, they wouldn't be saying stupid shit like this. Like, there's so few people that actually care about the environment, pollution, and water, but there's so many people that hate AI that they just use water consumption as a like excuse for like data centers, electricity, water, fucking stealing people's data, all of this shit. Like, it's crazy. And like the hypocrisy as well is just insane. Because if AI wasn't the case, if you could ask like an artist, for example, what if you would have a tool where instead of wasting like, what if you had a magical power where instead of wasting like 4 days making something, you could just say, I wish I had this, boom, and it appears on a page. They would be like, holy shit, that would be amazing. What if you could give this tool to millions of people? Oh, that would be great. Everybody could get into art. Everybody could do whatever. It might fuck me over a bit because, you know, it might take my job, but like, that would be so cool. And the field of art itself would get elevated and it would be so much more accessible and whatever. If you were to ask a programmer the same thing, what if there would be someone making scripts for everybody? So some poor fucking 40-year-old that works in some shit third world country that doesn't have proper automation infrastructure can have some sort of thing just magically make them a script that makes their 40-minute task only take 2 minutes and 2 clicks by automating most of it, so that they have to work less and they get to chill more and their life is a lot better. Or maybe it helps you do your fucking taxes or whatever. It just automates your life and you have to waste less time and you have more free time, which, you know, time is the main fucking currency of all biological units. You know, that's pretty fucking valuable. I would like more time. I would like not to be forced to learn programming for fucking 5 years to do something like that. That would be magical. There you go. You just described AI. That's literally what it does in both of these fields. But because it's AI, all of a sudden people are like, oh, but actually it's not a magical thing. It's not like convenient that now everybody can do it, because it ruins lives. It takes jobs. It steals from people. It this, it does. Like the water usage, the electricity, the data center. Like, they just come up with so much shit. Like, at least don't be delusional about it. If you have an actual argument to make, just fucking make it. Like, don't just come up with a bunch of random shit just to say, oh, and this, and that, and this. Like, that only works if all of your arguments are very well grounded and solid, not if you're just making shit up to prove your point more. So, like, if I were an artist and I would have an AI model trained specifically only on my art, where it could literally replicate exactly what I'm doing from one prompt, And I spent like 10 years perfecting that art style, and it trained so much on my specific pictures that it's literally fucking copying me one to one and would draw something the same exact way I would. Like if you were to give me a commission or shove that into a prompt, the outcome would be the same. Yeah, I would be pretty triggered because like I learned all of those things over ages. It's my personal style. I created it, maybe with inspiration from other people, so I'm kind of just fucking stealing from like 50 other people as well, because that's just how art works. You don't just come up with shit. Most of the time you see stuff, you learn stuff, you get inspired by other people, other people's code, other people's art. If you really think of it, artists do the exact same thing LLMs do, where they sample a lot of different data and they learn from it, and then they absorb it and they stylize it a bit. That's how it works. That's how all fucking painters and artists learn in the first place. So are you gonna accuse those people of stealing other people's art by getting inspiration from them and studying and learning them? They're literally doing the same fucking thing, but people don't have an issue with that. The reason they hate AI is for one singular fucking reason. Corporations. That's it. Corporations are misusing AI, and now all of these people are using the misusement of AI and then making up a bunch of shit around it just to be able to hate on it. Like, just fucking say you don't like how companies use AI. Just say you don't like fucking AI on every single product that doesn't need it, and Microsoft doesn't need to put it in every fucking app, and the AI bubble is really annoying economically and fucking commercially with all of the advertisement, and just fucking be straightforward and say the shit you don't like about AI, but stop making shit up just for the sake of making shit up. Oh, I don't like it because it steals from people, it does this, it samples it this way, it trains in this way, let's poison the data. Oh, the water, the electricity, the data centers, the fucking morality, the AGI, the this and that, the privacy. Like, shut the fuck up. You are literally just making shit up just to say, I don't like how companies are using AI. Okay, that's a completely valid topic. Just stick to that. You don't have to make up a bunch of bullshit just to say that. I also don't like how companies use AI. I think AI is one of the best things that has ever happened to humanity. Like, genuinely, it's one of our biggest technological innovations that is comparable to fucking Tesla's inventions. I would literally put AI on the same level as the internet, or telecommunications, or electricity as a whole. I think it is genuinely a massive fucking upgrade for humanity. Now, if people misuse it, if companies misuse it, if people do stupid shit with it, why are you not criticizing those people directly? Why are you criticizing AI? What is up with this fucking AI hate? It's about how they use it. Like, how stupid can you be? Oh. It's like I make an amazing fucking pipe that never bends under any sort of load or temperature or anything, and that pipe is like the perfect fucking material for factories, for everything. The pipe and the material is used in everywhere, and it's like, wow, this is an amazing fucking evolution that we have right here. This is incredible. And then somebody takes one of those pipe and just bashes someone with the pipe a bunch of times, you know, just kills a bunch of people with my pipe. Are you gonna hate on my pipe, or are you gonna hate on that fucking person for doing that with my pipe? Why the fuck is the pipe catching strays and not the guy using it as a weapon? Like, oh my god, people don't fucking think. They don't. And then, like, then people complain about it online, and then we have the same exact fucking thing where somebody with followers complains about something, and then everybody keeps fucking regurgitating. It's zero research, zero understanding. Nobody actually gives a fuck about the topics that are mentioned. They just want to complain. Like, for example, even the kernel anti-cheat and Windows stuff. People never gave a fuck about the technical accuracy of it, the privacy or security, the actual code, any of that. Nobody even cares to this day about any of that. The entire thing against Vanguard and Windows and all of these things is not about privacy or safety or anything. It is simply disliking corporate greed and companies. That's it. It's hating on Microsoft, it's hating on Riot. It has almost no actual valid reasons. And I feel like it's the same with AI. People are hating on AI just because they don't like how companies are using it. Like, just hate on the companies, please, for fuck's sake. You don't have to spread misinformation. and just make shit up and not understand what you're talking about and just regurgitate random shit just to hate on a company. I think it's completely valid to hate on a company. Just say Microsoft is going to shit. I don't like this specific practice they're doing. I feel like they're bloating Windows. I feel like I'm not a big fan of how they handle privacy. I think this company should be more transparent. I think this company shouldn't hold this information. I think this company shouldn't sell this information and it should be illegal. I think this and that and this and that. Okay, criticize stuff fairly and call it a day. Because if you just mass fucking criticize everything and shove it in the same fucking bubble and say it's all because of this or that, nothing is ever gonna get done. It's very simple. Just reward good practices that you appreciate and call out bad practices and criticize them directly. Don't abbreviate it into some stupid shit like kernel anti-cheats are bad, closed source software is bad, Windows is evil because I don't like Microsoft. Just straight up be fucking direct and say, I personally do not like this one company for doing this one specific thing. And that's all there is to it. Or I will stop using this product and I will go to one of their competitors because I dislike their competitors less than this company, and now I'm going to complain about the practices of this company to make it more known. Completely valid, and you do not need any form of misinformation to get that across. So why do people feel like they need misinformation and to yap about random shit just to get their point across? Why is everyone hating on Windows and not Microsoft? Why is everyone hating on kernel anti-cheats? For no apparent reason. I can't even come up with that. Like I can't even say hating on them because of what? Because they don't hate the companies that make them. Like, people don't fucking hate Riot. Yeah, maybe League players hate Riot because of like balancing or whatever, but it's not like Riot is a universally hated company. It's not like they do sketchy shit with your data or whatever. Like, I think people are just hating on that shit just because they heard it in a YouTube video. Like, that's even more pathetic. Because if you talk about Windows, it's like, yeah, maybe they just hate Microsoft. Completely fair. A lot of people hate Microsoft and a bunch of other companies. But when it comes to like anti-cheats, like, they don't even care about the company that makes them. They don't care about the product that makes them. They don't understand the product that they make. So like, why are they complaining about them? Just because they heard it in a YouTube video and now they just keep yapping about it. Like, I don't understand. I don't think people even understand what AI means in general. Like, you can literally have a self-hosted AI for image recognition. You can have an AI that pulls data like OCR, pulls letters from an image and copies them into your clipboard, hosted locally, minimal power usage, no water bullshit. That's AI. Like, I could make a fucking automation tool using a local hosted AI. That's also AI. LLMs that help you translate text properly so you can communicate with people without learning a whole language. That's AI. Stuff that makes biological and medical breakthroughs that heal thousands of people and save lives. That's AI. Tools that can very quickly determine something without having human delay and help in fast response incidents. That's AI. Automation tools that save you time. That's AI. If you want to learn something and you live in some fucking Soviet country where your teachers yell at you, are a bunch of 80-year-old communists that hate their fucking jobs and they don't actually want to teach you shit, and they yell every single time you ask a question, so then you go to ChatGPT and you ask for it to explain you a simple question because you're a dyslexic student from 5th grade that struggles with math and you can't really read or count properly, and then AI slowly fucking holds your hand and teaches you that thing like a tutor, which you can't afford because your parents are broke, and it helps you study and maybe get a better future, like a one-on-one private tutor for free with minimal usage. That's AI. Somebody helping you with your anxiety or issues, or just having someone to fucking talk to at 4 a.m. that doesn't judge you because you have no friends and strangers online might be mean to you and you can't afford a therapist, and somehow it makes you feel better. That's AI. Okay, maybe you don't want somebody to sit there behind a monitor as a content moderator and look through CP and Gore all day to filter images and profile pictures and click through them manually, so you have a well-trained AI model just scanning them and just outright rejecting them before they get onto your platform and without being exposed to human eyes. That's AI. Like, there's so many uses for AI. Detecting fraud, so people don't fucking scam your grandparents by scanning large fucking systems and detecting very weird behavior, which is actually also the only and the not only but like the main reason why Windows has hardware fingerprints and hardware ID is to detect fraud, because they have automatic fraud detection tools and stuff for like anti-hackers. This never affects a normal person, and their data sets are fucking massive since they have millions of devices and their databases are limited. This information gets used only when it's correlated to other sources to catch fraud. So we can talk about systems that generally catch fraud and criminals. Again, that can be AI when the data sets are fucking massive, and it's going to be really hard for a human to dig through all of that, especially in real time when you have millions of customers. And the end result is that you might lose less money. You might not be scammed. You might have had identity theft prevented. That's AI. Even something that runs in a program that you never see, never communicates with the server, and uses very minimal resources, which is basically the same thing as just a programmed script, it can have AI. It doesn't mean it has to be a fucking ChatGPT LLM. Like, I don't know. And honestly, it's so much gatekeeping. Like, so what if AI can make like high quality writing or essays or art or fucking help me with programming or do this and that? I used to work in automation. That's like one of the things that AI completely fucking wiped. I used to make scripts for companies and for people to have to waste less time. It would automate their tasks. Then I moved into automating a test suite for a medical company, one of the biggest American medical companies. They had these pumps that would inject like IVs, I don't know. They would inject liquids into people, and obviously, if they went at the wrong speed or did something wrong, it could genuinely kill somebody. So I was responsible for writing an entire comprehensive test suite because the American corporate people had a Romanian team and an Indian team. The Indian team was obviously cheap as fuck, but they genuinely had the most retarded code ever. They made a lot of mistakes and they broke a lot of stuff. So they had a few people in Romania where we had much more like skills and quality content. So they would basically mass produce shit in India and then send it to us. We would do like the low level engineering and review the stupid shit they made in India to make sure that the end product was actually high quality. And I was basically the only person in the team of automating a fuck ton of test suites. I wrote like 800 plus tests to like automatically run the pumps. I worked with the engineers on low level stuff. Like I did a lot of stuff just to ensure that every time they made some stupid fucking update, it wouldn't actually break the UI, the mechanisms. It wouldn't change the hardware in an unexpected way and make it behave weird. Basically, I worked in automation at that specific engineering firm. Both of those things that I enjoyed, botting and automating games and making scripts in general to make my life easier and faster and to see stuff just happening on my screen. I love the concept of pressing one button or just capturing something and then it just does a bunch of stuff on my screen automatically. It's really cool when I make it from scratch. I love saving people time, making it so that a 25-minute order processing position only takes 15 seconds and one click by making everything more efficient and not having to do a fuck ton of useless manual labor with an overworked mother of three that can barely get any money for her job. I enjoy doing these things, and guess what? AI completely took over all of those. I am useless when it comes to that because you can just open up Claude, free version or $20 a month version, way cheaper than I would have been, and it's going to write all of these scripts for you without any sort of issues. It's very good at automation. So am I going to be like, oh no, AI took my job, AI does what I used to enjoy doing, therefore I hate AI? Or am I going to say, you know what, I'm still going to enjoy doing what I'm doing. I'm probably going to pivot to something else in that area that AI hasn't taken over as badly, but I'm actually happy because now you don't have to hire me, waste your money and my time so I can make you something that will save you time in the future. Now it's 10 times easier for you to do that without relying on either me, your money and my time, or you learning what I learned over the course of years and wasting a fuck ton of your time. now you can do it much easier and it's much more accessible for you. Like, that is good for me. That is good news, because now people are getting the same stuff I was giving them for way cheaper, way faster, way easier. And it's the same thing with like languages. If I want to learn a language, I don't have to pay a tutor to fucking give me language courses. I can just do it with an LLM. If I don't even want to learn a language, let's say I'm traveling to a country, maybe I want to go to Hong Kong or some shit, and I want to enjoy their culture and be able to communicate with the people, I think it's pretty amazing to have something that will translate your speech in real time accurately, because obviously Google Translate and stuff works really badly with certain languages like Chinese or whatever. With this one, it actually takes all of the context, and AI can make like a really good fucking sentence that the other person understands, and it can sound like a natural conversation. You don't have to spend fucking 12 years learning to speak that language. You just install an AI app that will replicate your speech in the other language, and there you go. Now you can enjoy your trip more. You can communicate with people which otherwise you couldn't have talked to, and you don't have to spend years learning the skill. Same with programming, same with some parts of art and whatever. Like, why are we not appreciating the fact that it gives so much to so many people, even though it might fuck over you and your job? It makes what you are doing accessible to everybody. Like, isn't that supposed to be a good thing? Because if you would have asked people this before AI, if you would have asked me if there was some magical tool where everybody could automate all of their shit, I would be like, you know what, that's great. It kind of fucks me over, because I'm going to be kind of useless if everybody can just do what I'm doing, because they're not going to need me anymore. But I mean, if it's available to millions of people, like, that's great. They're not going to have to spend years learning programming. They're going to get all of the results that I'm getting. That's absolutely great. But now that AI comes, people completely twist that. So imagine, what about access to art? Do you have to learn like art for fucking 7 years straight just to be able to make a decent promotional poster for your game, or I don't know, just something for yourself that you enjoy and you look at and be like, yeah, that's so cool. That's my little OC. I like how it looks. Like, are you forced to either learn for years? What if you're physically handicapped and you can't do it? What if you're disabled? What if you don't have the time or energy investment because you have a lot of shit going on? Okay, then you can pay someone else to do it. What if you don't want to be charged $80 fucking dollars for a commission? Again, it's making it more accessible to those people. They can do it in one prompt. I understand that there's some downsides, and I understand that it fucks you over as the person providing the service. But if somebody were to ask you 10 years ago, before AI got so popular, what if this would be more available, widely available to more people, you probably would have been like, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I would like more people to get into this. I would be happy if more people had access to this and it wasn't so complicated for people to get in. I doubt people would have been like, maybe a few elitist people would have been like, nah, you have to learn for fucking 10 years because that's what I did, so you have to do it too. But I think most people would have been like, you know what, that sounds like a great tool. I think that would be really good for humanity because they get access to a lot of stuff that they wouldn't have had normally. And I think that's great. They have to waste less resources to get something. That's like basically what we all want as humans. But now that AI is here and it does literally that, now people are all butthurt. Now it's all about the jobs and replacing people. Now they're making shit up about pollution and water and fucking coming up with every single excuse under the sun. Now it's no longer valid because actually you have to learn it yourself, otherwise it doesn't count. Oh, there's so much joy in learning. 90% of us didn't learn shit because we enjoyed learning it. It was a means to an end. You learned art because you wanted to be able to draw cool stuff and you were always attracted to art. You learned programming because you wanted to make some cool projects and you sat there through the fucking boring ass lessons of learning to actually code just so you can have the satisfaction of making cool projects. Sure, there is a certain element of satisfaction to it, but realistically for most people it was a means to an end. So why are we criticizing people that get the end without the means and now saying, oh no, it's actually about the journey, it's about this? Like, shut the fuck up, you're coping so hard. Like, I don't know why people are so delusional. I've been affected by this firsthand. I worked in one of the fields that got obliterated overnight. And I still understand that it's good. Data centers themselves are not making electricity that much more expensive. In fact, electricity prices almost doubled ever since the fucking wars started. If you want to blame something, why aren't we talking about the wars that are constantly going on, which fucked up the entire global market? Secondly, when it comes to PC parts, first of all, data centers are not just for AI. Data centers have been around long before AI, and they have many other uses. Secondly, PC parts, yeah, that one's a bit unfortunate. But again, that's not data centers, and that is not AI. That is corporate greed. AI is not making your SSD more expensive. AI is not making your hard drives more expensive, and it's not making your RAM more expensive. It's the people that are producing these things conspiring with each other to keep the prices high. It's not that they can't make more RAM. Like there's some physical limitation. Oh shit, we ran out of these materials. We have fucking hundreds of millions of tons of these materials. It's like fucking diamonds. Like they have literally tons of diamonds, but they're keeping them expensive intentionally, and they're like presenting it to you that way. It's all marketing and corporate greed. It is not a limitation of resources. They can easily expand their production, do all of these things that they don't give a fuck about doing, and it's never been about AI or data centers. It's been about corporate greed, which leads me to the same thing. All of the issues that people have with anything that has to do with AI, typically with privacy or security, and most of the things that people are so like vehemently defending nowadays, like they would be down to put their fucking life on the line for it. All of them have to do with corporate greed and never the byproducts of it. You're talking about a byproduct of corporate greed. You are not talking about AI right now. Same with all of the other topics. You're not talking about Windows, you're not talking about Vanguard, you're not talking about 90% of this shit. You're indirectly talking about the companies that fuck you over. So why are you not directly criticizing the companies that fuck you over? Why are you not doing investigations on the people that make your PC parts? The process of how they're made, their financial records, the materials that are documented, how many materials they buy and they use, the actual fucking flow of those, how are they produced, how much of them is produced, how much of them is in storage, what are the economics behind it? All of it is corporate greed. It is not about AI. The water consumption is not that high. Like, you really shouldn't worry about water and AI, because AI is not even 0.01% of the water that we waste. If you really care about water, look at agricultural inefficiencies, systems that people are too lazy or complacent to change, which would result in hundreds of millions or billions of liters of water just saved every year. But they don't care about that because nobody gives a fuck about water. People just want to complain about AI and stuff. I think a lot of them are not actually bad people. They're just limited, and it is just human nature to try to optimize your brain. Like, I don't think we talk about this enough. Like, it's easy to hate on people for being superficial, for doom scrolling all day, for using AI all day, whatever. At the end of the day, we need to realize that the brain's main function, evolutionarily throughout the years, has been to make it have more efficient resource consumption, to basically consume as little resources as possible to operate. That is what brains are made for. It is the biological feature of anything throughout evolution, is to make itself more efficient. And what is efficiency in terms of a brain? It is having the same outcome with the minimal amount of effort. So with how society is changing and what the actual outcome people want is, such as having a place to live, having a reasonable income, having food, and having a few commodities, you don't have to go out of your way to do all of that. You don't have to think all day. You don't have to do any of this shit. It's normal that somebody's brain can just turn off. They can doom scroll all day. They can go to work like a robot every single day, do the same shit. Doesn't mean that they're NPCs or they're brain dead or there's something wrong with them. It's just simply the nature of how the brain works. So when you see people using AI all day and not thinking, typing comments without thinking, doom scrolling all day and being brain rotted, you can only blame them so much. It's just human nature. It's not the fault of short form content, AI, whatever. And you can't really hate people for being brain dead because just not everybody has that capacity. I mean, I have talked to some of these people, and when you see them online, they genuinely look like retards. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking flame them all the time. I see one of these comments, and these people genuinely look so fucking stupid and clueless, and worst of all, arrogant. I think that's my biggest issue with all of this. It is the arrogance that they type with, the sense of superiority, the aggression. Like, they know what they're talking about. All of these things are the problem. It's not that they're misguided or they don't have the information, because if they ask in a polite way, you can very easily correct it. If somebody approaches something with an open mind, you can very easily educate them. If somebody tells you, but Kryn, I heard this person saying that, and you're saying this, can you tell me a bit on like what you think of this topic? Because this one guy says that Vanguard runs at kernel level. Isn't that like dangerous? I don't know if I want to run it. People said it's dangerous, but you're saying it's fine. Can you tell me why you think it's fine when I heard in the past that it's not fine? And then if I have somebody asking like that, I would be like, sure. Here's the actual explanation. Here's how drivers work. Here's how the kernel system works. Here's how a bunch of stuff works. Let me educate you so you can understand the full picture and make a decision for yourself. You don't have to run it. I can just tell you how it works. That's fine. And you can make your own decisions and think for yourself afterwards. I can give you my opinion and some facts. Or like facts and then give you my opinion on those facts. And then you can interpret it however the fuck you want. If somebody asks me politely like that, I have absolutely no issue with it. My problem is when somebody hops in and says, fucking kernel driver glazer AI slope win slope user, instant dislike, shit content, fuck you. No wonder you're making such a shit game in anti-cheat. What a fucking retard. Like, bro, it's just, where's the attitude coming from? Like, if you genuinely don't know what you're talking about at all, why have an attitude? Me, not being a complete fucking imbecile, whenever I don't know something, I go in with an open mind. When I talk to somebody that's really high rank in Valorant, just because I was a pro player in League and 2-digit and also in all of these fucking competitive games where I was like incredibly good at them, I know I'm shit at shooters. I'm not gonna hop in Valorant and be like, this fucking trash ass team. Like, no, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm learning a new game. I don't know how this works. I know my own capacity. I know that I learn fast. I know that I'm very competitive. I know that I get mad and tilted easily. I know all of my features. And I also know that I'm shit. So when I talk to somebody, I'm gonna listen with an open mind. I'm gonna do research on the stuff that they tell me, and I'm gonna correlate that information from an alleged expert, which is high rank in the game, with a bunch of other people that are also high rank in the game. And then I'm gonna take the stuff that all of them say, I'm gonna correlate the information and see which one typically matches and which ones are outliers that generally don't get told, from other people. And then I'm gonna be like, okay, I can generally form a picture of how this should go. I'm not gonna get grifted. They're not gonna sell some shit to me. I'm just asking a bunch of people that know what they're talking about one by one and taking the most common things that they say, so I can kind of take those as facts. Because, in games, you don't really have facts. It's mostly just high elo versus low elo opinions, and what people generally think is best for the game. And, typically people that are higher rank will know those things better. So if I hop into a domain like that, I'm gonna go in with an open mind. I'm gonna learn the game. And I'm going to kind of listen to them while also experimenting by myself to see what works and doesn't work for me. If I fuck up, if I have an open site and I plant somewhere in the back where nobody sees me, sure, it's safer to plant there. But now I planted in a pretty bad position because it's kind of hard to hold that. Like if you plant in the middle of the fucking open, when somebody tries to defuse, you could come in from any angle. Basically, it's better to plant out in the open for the post plant, but it's also more dangerous. But if you have the site for free, you always plant in the most open position so that you can fuck them up afterwards. I had situations where I autopiloted and I didn't do that. Now, when the immortal guy that I'm playing with, that was Radiant, tells me, you should actually plant out in the open when you have the site for free, and you should only plant in the back when you're absolutely forced to, and you want to get it down fast. What am I going to say? Am I going to make excuses and be like, oh, I planted back here because I was scared they were going to shoot me from heaven or this or that? Like, I'm just gonna say, oh, my bad, I fucked up. You're completely right, that makes 100% sense. I thought about it, I realized you were right. Or if I feel like I'm right and he's just, he didn't see the situation, I'm gonna be like, but wasn't there a guy heaven, whatever, this and that. And then I'm gonna go back and look into the replay and see, oh, this person was actually right. Or this advice is generally right. It just didn't work in that one situation. I'm not gonna instantly start arguing about it. Holy up, dude, are you fucking brain dead? It's a stream. People come here to listen to me talk and interact with me. The fuck am I supposed to do? Not talk in my own stream? Anyway, so like in that situation, or it's like I will understand that the person knows what they're talking about and I will approach that information in a specific way. So let's say the best example of this is actually my best friend. He is brilliant. He is very educated. He's in one of the most difficult research institutes of mathematics and computer science in the world, and he does very advanced research in his master's. Now, keep in mind, master's degree in tech in Israel are extremely fucking hard. Getting into a CS uni in Israel in the first place is really hard because it's very competitive. And they have like basically the best cybersecurity in the world, and they're extremely good at this sort of stuff. So for this guy to be at the top of the top university's top research institute, he's practically one of the best in the world at what he does. Intelligent and humble guy. When I talk to him and I ask him something about employment at one of these companies like Nvidia or Google or whatever, and how AI works in them and this sort of stuff, I completely disregard everything I heard from the industry. I don't care what Google told me. I don't care what some random YouTuber told me. If this guy, which every single one of his friends works at Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, and not in some shitty positions. We're talking about senior engineer, like team lead sort of shit. Like they make like 400K a year in their positions, and every single one of his friends is in one of those positions. And I've talked to them firsthand. Like I played League with them, and one of the guys was a senior engineer at Microsoft, and he gave me a Xbox fucking Game Pass for free. It was like a 2-year Game Pass because he can just generate them. Like he knows a lot of really good people. So when this guy tells me something, I'm gonna be like, okay, so that's how it works. I'm not gonna question him. I'm not gonna argue with him. I'm not gonna tell him that I know better. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and listen to him. And I feel like most people just need to shut the fuck up and understand when they don't know shit, instead of just giving their uneducated opinion. I'm not going to contradict him and tell him that he doesn't understand the job market, or that the job market in Romania is so much more different, or that that's not actually what top companies want, or whatever. I'm simply going to listen to what he has to say. And he does the same for me. He doesn't argue with me over League. He knows that I was extremely good at this game. He knows that I was an esports coach. He knows all of this shit about me and my knowledge. So whenever he does something in League and I tell him he's fucking up, he doesn't tell me, oh, actually, no, I did it because this and that. And like, he doesn't make excuses. He's like, oh, what should I have done better? Can you like, so you're telling me this, like, what specifically should I have done in that situation? I trust you. I would listen to you with an open mind because you know what the fuck you're talking about. And then if somebody were to contradict me in the future, if he were to get another coach that was really good at the game and he tells him something that's different to what I told him, then he's going to ask that coach, like, okay, my previous one that's also really good at the game told me this. Now you're telling me this. Can you help me understand if maybe one of you was wrong, or if maybe this is just situational, and in some situations I should do what that guy said, and in some what you said? Like, can you explain a bit to me how the rationality works here so I can apply it in the future? This is what I'm talking about being fucking open-minded and actually approaching research properly, and then doing your own research and actually reading the studies that are quoted, because studies can very easily be misrepresented in YouTube videos without any sort of effort. Studies are just made up all the time. Numbers are misrepresented. Why do people never actually put in some sort of effort on top of approaching stuff with an open mind? Because I feel like 95% of people, easily 95% plus, they watch something or they hear something in a topic they don't know shit about, and they just feel the need to give their opinion. Look, if it's a personal opinion, if I'm watching an Overwatch video and I say, I just prefer Valorant because to me it's more satisfying. I just like getting a headshot, just hearing the gun sound effect going like dung, and it just makes me feel better than like tracking someone through the air with my gun, whatever. Like, that's a personal opinion. That's fine. It's what you like. You can comment on that anytime about what you're into. But if I start saying stuff like, oh, actually, I think this game is harder or better at an esports level as a fucking silver player, or talking about stuff that I don't understand, that's the moment it becomes fucking stupid. And that's the thing that most people do. If you see it so often in like cybersecurity and stuff as well, it's sad. I don't like it when people do that, and people do that a lot. In fact, if I were to name the number one thing that annoys me the most in this world, is people that don't know what they're talking about, aggressively, arrogantly, with a closed mind, and disrespectfully stating their uneducated opinion. That's what I hate the most. No, but I still Googled and did my own research afterwards. The thing about first of all, I established that he's actually extremely good at what he's saying. It's not just some random guy on the internet with a bunch of subs. Secondly, I already had an understanding of the field. It's not like I went in completely blind. Like, I obviously already worked in programming for some years. I understood some of this. I didn't really have that much experience with like, top 5 tech companies, which is what he knows better than me, and what they hire for and how AI fits into those. I knew a bunch of stuff before that: programming, job markets, AI. He's just the one that told me like the insider specifics about how those things are applied at the highest level in some companies. So, for example, how they use, why they can't really hire a general programmer for something like a senior NVIDIA position, or why they couldn't automate that part with AI, or the types of things that people earn a lot of money for in companies like Netflix, and their, the way they transport data and whatever, like people working on those algorithms. He corrected a bunch of misunderstandings that I had about math and stuff. So, okay, but the thing is, going back to like the Valorant example, I told you that I correlated information from multiple experts that gave me arguments that had a very credible source, such as being a really high rank in the game, and I saw the matching information that they gave me. The equivalent of this would be talking to a bunch of cheat devs that have active undetected cheats and that have reverse engineered Vanguard, and asking them about Vanguard. The equivalent of watching a cybersecurity YouTuber make a 4-minute video on it is the equivalent of watching like a 5-minute, this video will get you to immortal as a silver player type of video, like just typical grifter bullshit. So if I am new to a field, as I said, I'm going to talk to a bunch of experts in the field and then correlate their information with a bunch of general information, and basically understand the general outlook on the topic as well as the outlook of the experts on the topic, all given personally to me, so that I can understand how people think when it comes to that, when they're better than me at a certain thing. It's doing actual research from multiple sources of experts. When you're just trusting one random ass YouTube channel, that's obviously different. Now, the reason I trusted my friend wasn't just because he was really good at what he was talking about. It was because I already knew like 80% of it. Like, I already had a pretty good understanding of all of the topics he was talking about, and he just filled in the blanks for me with actual concrete insider information on those topics. If I were to have no idea about the field, yeah, it would be pretty stupid to just trust one person, which is why I gave you the example with games, where I typically just ask multiple people and correlate their answers. Multiple competent people. And I think that's what you should do when you're learning a new field. You can do some general basic research, because maybe some principles apply everywhere and you like learn the basics of the topic. But unless you talk to somebody very competent, or rather multiple people that are very competent, and you correlate all of their information to see which one is typically, ubiquitous throughout all of their answers, then you're not doing proper research, and you're probably gonna fall into misinformation. So there's like two ways to learn it. One is supplementing information from an expert when you already understand the field, and one is learning a completely new field, in which case you need multiple people, not just one source of truth, because that person could just not even be retarded, but just like, just not give you completely accurate information, and they might not even know it. They might not realize that they're not giving you what you need to hear. So it's always better to do that.
Just noticed that you seemed a little down. Just sign right here on this line and I can change your life. A blind shot in the dark. Don't think what you need is love. Take that off, we're gonna make you a star.
I don't have an issue with people not doing research. I have an issue with people doing zero proper research and then talking as if they understand shit. It's completely fine to be clueless and to not know anything about a topic. It is, however, completely retarded to talk as if you understand the topic with a certain amount of ego and attitude and aggression and passive aggressiveness and superiority, especially to somebody that understands the topic a million times better than you, and then disrespectfully argue about that topic as if you know shit in a very rude manner. That is my only problem here. In fact, I couldn't give less of a fuck what people know. People could just be a bunch of uneducated sheep for all I care. They just shouldn't argue with me on the stuff that I know just because they think they know it when they're superficial as fuck, basically. But it's not even understanding when you're wrong. It's just simply understanding that you don't have the knowledge or valid research to make a comment. People think they can comment about stuff that they don't understand. You can't. You can give your personal opinion on it, how it makes you feel, what you might have heard that you aren't sure is true, what your personal beliefs about a specific topic is, even though usually those beliefs are formed on information, which again, if you're just operating under misinformation, then your personal beliefs are invalid because they were made on invalid information. So like, I guess my biggest problem is that people think that they can give their opinion on shit that they just don't know stuff about. Like, I think that most people wouldn't do something like create a whole video or document or paper, like scientific paper on something they don't know about. Because most people don't do that. With some exceptions. My problem is that people think that that's unacceptable. Like, you couldn't make this big piece of content where you give your opinion very strongly and you make like a bunch of it if you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you couldn't make a fucking half-an-hour YouTube video talking about something that you don't understand because you'd look like a fucking idiot. But for some reason, those same people think that just because you do it at a smaller scale in like a comment, it's okay. Like, if you give your opinion on something that you don't understand, it's fine. But if you make like a whole ass documentary on something you don't understand, that's obviously wrong. Well, to me, both of them are obviously wrong because in both instances, you are giving your take on something that you don't understand. Both instances are equally invalid to me. One of them is a bit more ridiculous while also being just as invalid. But just because you can comment doesn't mean your opinion matters, and it definitely doesn't matter if you don't know what you're talking about. Like, why do people think it's okay to even make a passive comment about something they don't understand? I would just say, I don't know shit. Like, I don't know shit about that topic. That's it. Do not ask me for an opinion. If you ask me about some shit football related, Messi or Ronaldo, oh, Argentina, Brazil, whatever, I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I heard the name Argentina and Brazil a bunch of times. Maybe they're good, maybe not. Like, they might be the best from what I've heard, but I genuinely don't know shit about football. Like, I do not know. I'm not gonna be like, oh yes, I heard that this and that, and I think they won a World Cup or some shit. So yeah, maybe they're good. Like, no, I'm just gonna say I don't know shit. I genuinely do not know shit on the topic. Or I like this topic. I would like to learn more, but I don't know shit. Even when people ask me for advice, like, okay, look, I've worked in cyber and programming, and this is my field. IT in general is my field. But when somebody asks me something that is related to my field, the same way low level has the opportunity to make something related to make a video on Vanguard or an anti-cheat, just because he works in the low level computer science field, which this falls under, doesn't mean he fucking understands the topic. So he should just shut the fuck up and say, I didn't do research into Vanguard. I don't know exactly what they do. I don't know how they operate. I understand that it can be reverse engineered like fucking crazy because it's an anti-cheat, and those are the most reverse engineered things on the whole planet. So making the closed source argument doesn't really make sense. Making the driver argument doesn't really make sense. I am not qualified to talk about this. I know the field, but I don't know the product. I should not comment on the product. The best I can do is just tell you how drivers work. And if the video was under that premise, that would have been completely fine. Hi guys, here's how drivers work. Here's how elevation works. It might potentially be an issue depending on this and that, but I cannot tell you that it's a problem because I have not looked at it. That's fine. That is honest. But when you abbreviate it so much that you say, oh, it runs at kernel, it's dangerous, it's gonna fuck you up, and then everybody just keeps repeating that. It's like, why? Why? When somebody asks me what university they should go for in their country, should I do computer engineering, computer science, this or that, what degree, what courses should I take? I tell them, I don't fucking know, do your research. Compare universities. Go on LinkedIn and job boards and look at the types of skills that people look for. If you're asking me what project to do, I will tell you how to do your research. Look in your city, your employers. What do they want? What projects are they looking for? Ask the people that did get a job. Like, how did they do it? Like, just do your own fucking research in your own area. I'm not going to tell you that I know because I don't know. Like, I know how getting a job in general works. I know about the projects I made and making projects. I understand a lot of these topics, but I don't understand the specific part that you're asking for. So the best I can do is teach you how to do research. So why does nobody else do this shit? Why do they comment on it? Or people ask me about like microcontrollers or hardware or some shit. Like, I understand those things. I have worked with them. I know them, but I'm not a fucking expert in like microcontrollers or the fucking boot order or something low level regarding Windows. So I'm just gonna tell the guy, I know some stuff there. It interests me, but I cannot answer your question. Like, I can give you an uneducated opinion. The best I can do is tell you where to find that information if you actually want to do deeper research. But I'm not gonna give you an answer. I don't fucking know. You hear me saying I don't know all the time. It's not because I don't know shit about it. I know a lot about a lot of these topics. I just don't feel like I'm enough of an expert to actually give concrete information or advice to somebody in one of these situations. Even though I know like 80% of it, unless I know like 99% to 100% of it, I'm not going to comment on it. I'm just going to say, I don't know. Here is where you can find that information. Here's how you do that research. But no, every fucking other person I see in every field is like, oh, I know like 70 to 80% of this. I'm just going to shit out some information. Like, no, just say you don't know. It's that simple. But like, I don't know, because it's not just about the knowledge and all of this shit. Like, it's genuinely just the aggression that really fucking makes me lose my mind. It's the way they say it that is so bafflingly disrespectful to me. I cannot believe it. Like, they could literally use any fucking word to ever exist. It's not gonna trigger me. Like, I played fucking League for 10 years. I've heard all of it. But the second I see somebody with so much fucking attitude talking down on me, like they're above me, like they know better than me, in an insulting, passive aggressive way, like some of these comments are crazy. They're like, oh, my bad that you consider me a loser, that I don't want kernel level slop spyware as a security threat in my kernel space, proprietary source code, by the way, and you're allegedly a cybersecurity channel. Like, when they say it like that, it's like, okay, being ignorant is one thing, being stupid is one thing, being uneducated as fuck is one thing, having no idea what you're talking about and making a claim on something that you don't understand, which is already bafflingly stupid, all of those can maybe be excused. Even the worst offender, in my opinion, which is giving your opinion on something that you don't understand instead of shutting the fuck up or asking about it with an open mind, by far the worst offender of all of this is the way people just type it with so much fucking attitude. Like, I just don't. Where do you get that shit from? Where, why, and how? Can you imagine, by the way, can you imagine going to like a neurosurgeon and they tell you some very specific shit that you would only really know as a neurosurgeon? And then you'd be like, you're supposed to be a doctor, by the way? Bro, you're so fucking stupid. Never talk again. Like, you have no idea what you're like. Oh my god, bruh. Like, bruh. Like, how are you a doctor? You're such a retard. And then just leaving the office. It's like, huh? Like, for some reason, that obviously sounds retarded to everybody listening to this. But that's just what they're doing in the comments. They're going to somebody that knows their shit, that has an educated opinion, and they're just going, oh yeah, you're so, you think you know what you're talking about. You're so fucking stupid. Disliked. Fucking retard. Poof. Like, bro. Yeah, they like, sometimes they do it with doctors too. I heard about that. Not in like the specific neurosurgeon example that I gave with like hyper specific information, but they're like, actually, online it says this. I know you looked at my actual body and ran actual tests, and you know, it's not even about the knowledge, it's just about the specifics of this specific fucking case. But actually, I read a generalization online of what might be the cause or the cure for this general thing that I have a very specific version of that you just examined. So I don't know. I think you might be wrong because online it says this. And then the doctor's like, yeah, but you don't have dermatitis. You have this very rare fucking skin condition that has nothing to do with dermatitis. So you're not going to go on the treatment for that because you actually have, I don't know, fucking this random ass thing that like 2,000 people have had. And actually the treatment is taking this, and this is why I'm doing it. And then the person's like, I don't know, I think I want a second opinion. It just says this online, and I don't know. Like, I hear it all the time. It's crazy. And the part that really fucking triggers me, like, I've seen like cheat devs that understand these things really well, like Vanguard and stuff. Like, they literally work with it all day. They're basically as educated on the topic as the people making Vanguard. Like, the high level cheat devs, as in like the really advanced cheat devs, and the actual Riot developers basically have like similar, if not equal, knowledge on the topic. So basically, they're as good as you can get at it. You cannot know more than they do. And even these people, like, they have the luxury of just dismissing them like, oh, retarded redditors. Like, every time I bring one of these situations up, they're like, bunch of retarded redditors, and that's it. They don't get triggered. They don't give a fuck. They're just like, bunch of clueless commenters, bunch of retarded redditors. I can't do that as a YouTuber, because if I want to respond in any way, hundreds, thousands of people are gonna see my comment or my response. If I make a video, hundreds of thousands of people are gonna see my video. A lot of them are gonna have even more criticisms. I can't just dismiss them as in, I know way more than you, you're a complete fucking retard, which is 100% true, and then just say you're a bunch of fucking idiots, you don't know what you're talking about. If I make that argument, and this is the only reason I haven't already made a video on this, I need to be the one that does so much fucking digging that every single sentence I say needs to be completely undisputable beyond any doubt with concrete proof regarding everything. Even if some of it might be illegal to show on YouTube, like it was achieved by reverse engineering or some shit, which obviously you can't show fucking reverse engineer proprietary code on YouTube. Like, the responsibility falls on me, and it's so fucking hard. And I have to go through so many steps just to prove something that is obvious. But somebody making a retarded comment, either in the form of a comment or a short video, where they just say stupid shit, there is no accountability there. PC security channel has no accountability. Low level has no accountability. Comments have no accountability. They can make a simple generic video, and then they can say, it's not my fault the video got misunderstood. I didn't lie in the video. Like, low level didn't lie in the video. He just grossly misrepresented it. He just talked about kernel drivers and he made some false associations. He never directly said something about Vanguard. PC security channel said that Windows telemetry is concerning. He didn't really say, yeah, my testing methods aren't the greatest. I didn't really do research on this. I didn't really look at the publications. There's a lot of shit I didn't do. But, you know, here's like a small snapshot of a shitty test I ran. Therefore, I think Windows is spyware. That's my opinion. And then people just kept replicating that. Like, at that point, it's more like you're misrepresenting stuff rather than you're showing invalid proof or like false information. Because a lot of this stuff isn't just straight up false information. The misinformation comes from oversimplifying information, presenting it in an invalid way or under a premise that is false, even though the information itself might be simple or true. Like, yeah, technically, Vanguard runs at a kernel level. It is a kernel driver, that is true. Saying that a kernel driver can be dangerous is true. But then leaving it at that, and leaving like the thousands of intricacies out of the way, and just making a fucking 1-minute video about it that's dragged out to 4 minutes by repeating the same shit. How is that genuine? Like, that's straight up misinformation. You're not lying about the information itself, you're just presenting it in such a stupid fucking way. So I can't make a video and be like, oh, this claim that he made is completely false. It's more like, yeah, you kind of misrepresented that one. And they can also make the argument of, I never said anything that was like completely fake, maybe like a bit stupid, but it's not completely disprovable. And it's not my fault people are taking it out of context. Like, that's what they can say. It's not my fault people interpreted my video in a stupid way because they're brain dead. It's not my video's fault, it's not my fault, even though it is. Like, they can make that argument, and it's kind of like a kind of fair argument because you can't really control how people interpret your content. Yes, it's exactly like those people. Because guess what? Somebody that's actually interested in something is not going to be like, oh, I have to lock in, I need to do this thing for like my future or whatever. They're just going to be like, oh yeah, let me do this. I feel like programming. Yeah, I want to learn this. Let me research this. It's not like, okay, no more doing random shit. I'm going to lock in now. I'm going to do this one thing. And then after 10 minutes, they're doom scrolling again, or they get bored in 2 days or something. The so-called lock-in people just, no. Like, if you have to lock in to do something, you're doomed to fail. Like, there's a difference between like getting distracted a bit and being like, oh shit, I got distracted. Let me get back to what I was doing, and just being like, oh shit, I've been doing like 7 hours of stupid shit. I'm gonna lock in because I need to do this. Like, you're trying to get yourself motivation to do something, and motivation never lasts. If motivation is your driver to get into something, you will quit. So that's also why I like bash people that say, I have no motivation. I'm trying to lose weight or work out, but I have no motivation. No one has motivation. Motivation disappears in 2 weeks. Motivation doesn't drive shit. You don't get good at something with motivation. Motivation gives you the initial impulse to start working on something. And then after 2 weeks, you're going to just, you would have wasted 2 weeks. When I started working on my game, it wasn't any form of motivation. In fact, before when I worked on a game, yeah, I ran out of motivation. I quit in a week. This time I just simply made something. It was good. It was fun. I kept expanding on it. I never had a plan to make a game. I just kept doing more and more and more. And now soon I'm gonna have a full-on fucking game. When I got into cyber, yeah, it was partially motivation. In the beginning, for like the first few weeks, I was motivated, and then I fucking hated it. And then I kept continuing, not because of motivation, but because I wanted a better life for myself. I wanted a better future. I wanted to put my potential to use because I know I'm a high potential, high quality person. So why the fuck would I throw all of that away and just waste my life? The realization for me came when I wanted to swap roles in League. At the time I was playing esports, I played support and jungle. Jungle was my old role. I switched to support for the last 3 years. I wanted to go pro on that role, and I was challenger at the time. And I was like, okay, what if I was currently in an esports team, and I was thinking, what if I switch from support to top lane? I want to play top lane. It's a very mechanical role. You can really show your skill off a lot, and I genuinely think it's by far the hardest thing in the entire game. I think top lane micro mechanically, laning phase at esports level is the hardest thing in all of League. You can see it at like some of the top players in the game doing it. It's fucking crazy. Like Bean and On and all of those top players just fucking 1v1ing each other. Zeus, like it's truly amazing. The sheer amount of detail and expertise that goes into it. Anyway, so I was like, okay, I wanna swap roles. How long does it take me to swap roles into top lane? Well, I'm already like probably master level or some shit because I'm good at the game itself. But what if I want to become a pro? Like that's hard. Even getting to challenger on a new role like that is kind of hard. But being a pro is another fucking category entirely. So realistically, it's gonna take me like maybe 5k hours. I can probably do it in like a year or two. Let's say like 2 years. And then I thought, 5k hours. I'm obsessive, intelligent, determined. I get really good at things very fast. 5k hours. And then I realized I'm fat, I have no friends, I'm unemployed, I'm a dropout, I'm a failure. I literally failed everything in life. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm a very capable person. I'm much more intelligent than the average person. Whenever I lock in and I get like obsessed with something, I progress stupidly fast. Like I can easily get into the top 1% of anything within like 2 or 3 months. And then top 0.01 within the year. What the fuck are you talking about 5k hours to swap roles in League? For what? Like, is it gonna get me money? No. Is it gonna make my life better? No. Am I gonna get friends from it? No. Am I gonna get healthier from it? No. Like, it's a complete waste of time and it takes so much fucking time. And then I thought, wait, what if I put all of these attributes of mine, all of these positive attributes to use? Imagine 5k hours in programming, 5k hours in cybersecurity, 5k hours in, I don't know, fucking infrastructure and development or fucking platforms or whatever. I would basically be making like 200k a year at that point if I got good at one of those topics. My life would be much better. My health would be better. I wouldn't be addicted to games all day. I wouldn't rage at a game all day and play it while hating it. Why the fuck would I waste 5k hours swapping roles when I can do this? And that's when I made the realization. And if I combine that with the fact that I heard that cybersecurity was the opposite of computer science, because at the time, it was like the AI boom. The CS job market was looking like shit. Cybersecurity to me at the time was like, in CS, you have to sit through a bunch of years of university. You have to not do shit. You just waste your time. You learn a bunch of useless shit. The job market is oversaturated and you get a shitty internship and then maybe you get a job. Basically, it's not as much based on skill as it is on time. I would be forced by default to waste about 4 years of my life in university. And then I heard about cybersecurity and I'm like, oh, that's something, because there's no time limit here. I don't just have to AFK away to get a degree. I can get a certification in 2 weeks or a month, which might take people half a year to a year to get. It's based on certifications and skill and knowledge and projects. all of those things I can just do very fast if I'm dedicated. So I don't have to waste years of my life. I could basically be highly employable after like 7 months instead of 5 years. So that really awakened something in me, because I always had this concept of, I want to put my skills to use. I'm a high quality person. I can progress very fast. I hate wasting my time, and I hate wasting my potential. So when I heard about something where it completely disregarded time and it was strictly how hard you work and how capable you are equals how fast you get a job. There's no in between, no filler, no bullshit. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. It's perfect for my skill set. So that realization at that time, as well as me hating my role and wanting to swap to another one, which would take thousands of hours, combining those two made me realize, oh, what if I put my potential to use in cybersecurity and I lock the fuck in and I do that? And that was like, that was my drive, basically. I had a reason to keep going. There was a lot of motivation for sure. In the maybe first 2 or 3 weeks, I was hella motivated. I was grinding like fucking crazy, zero burnout. But then after a while, there's a lot of issues that come along the way. You have burnout, you have your brain refusing to absorb information. You have, what's it called? You have issues with getting jobs or learning platforms. You have like so many branches that you need to choose from. Like there's so many issues that come along the way. It's not just like I'm going to get into it and then I'm going to do it. Like there are so many fucking roadblocks and speed bumps and so many issues that it's absurd and they're so demotivating. And then I kept hitting one after the other and it was looking so fucking bad. It just kept looking like I'm just wasting my time and it's never going to lead anywhere. Bam, I got a job. I got 7 job offers. I chose one of the jobs. I just sat on my ass all day and I made a ton of money from home. Okay, I started getting a lot more jobs. Then I started getting internships at huge companies. I started getting opportunities from cybersecurity CEOs because of the connections I had at the time. I started getting like a ton of really cool shit. And then it's like, oh, and now I was getting a lot better. I was meeting insanely good people. Like I remember talking to this one guy from CrowdStrike that was making like $15K dollars a month. He was like an American at like one of the top divisions of CrowdStrike in blue teaming, and he kept telling me about the things that he's investigating and the teams and resources they have with like their Falcon and all of their hidden features, and giving me like cool insider information. And I'm like, whoa. And he gave me like a $10K course for free regarding cybersecurity that they sell at one of those, literally 10K. If you want to get it, it costs over 10K today to get the video materials that he gave me for free. And like having all of these connections and being surrounded with really competent people, like all of these things opened up to me because I was dedicated, because I had a drive, because I knew I could do this stuff and that I'm wasting my own potential. That was my drive. If I would have just ran out of motivation or just chasing money or just simply wanting more, my life to be more comfortable, or like one specific thing or a few things, those are all superficial reasons. That is not going to get you that deep into one of these concepts. Like, yeah, you want money. Okay, there's many ways to get money. You don't have to become specialized on a really hard field to make money. You can make money in many other ways if that's your dedication. Like, that's not going to help you with this. If you want a comfortable work from home job, same thing there. If you combine the two and you want money and a comfortable work from home job, again, that's not going to get you here. That's not enough. But to me, it was just that inside fucking fire of I am wasting my life and I can do so much more than this. And that's what got me into cyber. It wasn't me watching one interesting documentary or always having a thing for it ever since I was young or being like autistic and obsessed with it. I had none of those. It was just that inner drive of knowing I can do more and I'm wasting my time on a fucking game. And I'm wasting my resources. I guess what also helped was working like some minimum wage job. Not minimum wage, but like there were 2 times where I wanted some temporary money for my glasses and my driver license or something like that. Like I just needed a couple $100 and I got like a temporary job for 2 weeks. One of them was at Media Galaxy in the mall. And one of them was at like ordering shit. I don't fucking know. So the one, like, basically processing online orders, and I was surrounded by so much fucking mediocrity. When I went to those jobs, I just saw people that worked at the same minimum wage, horrible fucking trash ass job of sitting fucking, like, standing for 12 hours straight, walking around in circles, like helping customers find shit and like restocking stuff. Like, complete retard work, I'm not gonna lie. Like, very, very low quality work. Um, and then all of them were like in their 30s. They were older people that wasted their whole life on that job, and I just couldn't see myself there. Like, they were uneducated, they couldn't speak Romanian properly. Um, there's this thing where you have like this class divide. In Romanian, it's very clear. It might not be as clear as in languages like English, but the vocabulary you have when you speak Romanian definitely sets you apart, as in, this is an educated, more formal, proper person, and this is some uneducated street gypsy that is just like a low quality person. Like, you can instantly tell from how somebody's speaking. It's just that sort of language. So they were speaking in like the lowest fucking class way possible. They were all fat, mediocre, 30-year-olds, no future, nothing. And they were working those like shitty minimum wage jobs. And I'm like, I instantly knew I was never gonna be one of those people. And then that also helped me with my realization later on when I said that thing about like the 5,000 hour grind, and like moving from games to cybersecurity. I was like, what's the alternative? Do I work in fucking customer support for 800 euro per month? Do I go IRL into one of these places? Like, every single time I worked one of those temporary jobs for a little bit of money before quitting them, I was surrounded by the stupidest, most fucking mediocre people ever. And I felt completely out of place. I felt like I was around the wrong people. I was doing the wrong job. And like, I felt disgusted, low-key. Like it was fundamentally wrong. Like, genuinely, inside my chest, I was like, this is so fucking wrong. Why am I here? And all of these things combined gave me that fire that I needed to seek the thing that I was going for. It was never just one reason, or I have to lock in. I need to fix my life. I knew I needed to fix my life for years at that point. But that was never enough. So all of these factors were what actually pushed me to do it long term. That is the determination and ambition and fire that you need, not just a shallow excuse and then saying, I'm gonna lock in. Or, Kreen, how do I get into cyber? I struggle with burnout and I can't memorize stuff, or I'm this, or I'm lazy. Like, I don't fucking care, bro. If you're lazy, if you can't do it, just don't fucking do it. Go work at fucking McDonald's or some shit. Don't ask me for advice. I can't live your life for you. I can't fix your ambition for you. You either have it or you don't. You might find it in the future, in which case you might change your life, or not.